Good evening, you're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. Malaysia will build a school, hospital and mosque as an initial effort to assist in the reconstruction of Gaza. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says the initiative will be a joint effort between Malaysia and the Japanese governments.
Alhamdulillah atas usaha kerajaan dan Menteri Luar, kita telah dapat kepastian supaya dapat disegerakan pelaksanaan program pembangunan semula Gaza dan Palestin atas usaha bersama kerajaan Jepun dan Malaysia yang berhasrat untuk menubuhkan dan melancarkan dana melalui kegiatan Asia Timur. Maknanya program Asia Timur untuk membangunkan Gaza. Bagi pihak Malaysia dengan usaha ini dan usaha saya percaya bersama dengan rakyat dan juga kolaborasi dengan sektor swasta, insya-Allah kita akan mulakan dengan pembinaan sebuah sekolah, sebuah rumah sakit dan sebuah masjid. Sebagai suatu usaha kita, pengorbanan masyarakat dan rakyat, mudah-mudahan Allah memelihara kita dan menjamin keselamatan Gaza dan Palestin.
A landslide in Kampung Lereng Bukit Miri has claimed 5 lives. The body of the final victim was recovered at around 6 p.m., bringing an end to the search and rescue operation. 7 other victims were found safe. All 5 deceased have been sent to Miri Hospital for post-mortem examinations. The victims of the landslide were a 71-year-old woman along with her 41-year-old daughter and her 3 children, a son aged 16 and 2 daughters aged 11 and 8. In the early hours of Wednesday, 2 houses with 12 occupants were buried under rubble after a landslide. Authorities said they are keeping a close watch on the surrounding area following the incident, with the Miri Disaster Management Operations Room activated earlier today. The strong Malaysia-China ties made this year's Chinese New Year celebrations even grander, with a stunning 1,000 drone display at KLCC Twin Towers by a team from China. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid says the showcase reflected 50 years of strong government as well as people-to-people relations. He said this when met after attending the MCA Chinese New Year Open House at Wisma MCA in Jalan Ampang today. Meanwhile, Ahmad Zahid hopes that more tourists from China will visit Malaysia in conjunction with the Visit Malaysia Year in 2026. According to him, so far, 3.8 million tourists from China have visited Malaysia. This, he hopes, can contribute to the economic growth of both countries. A recent study by Ipsos Malaysia found that Malaysians are more optimistic about the year compared to the previous year. In fact, the optimism is also higher if compared to the global average. Here to dissect Malaysians' outlook and perspectives for 2025 is Evelyn Tan, Interim Country Manager of Ipsos Malaysia.
I think our political landscape has been relatively stable compared to other countries, especially in 2024, where there were quite a few countries experienced election and changes in government leadership. So for us, our political landscape is stable, and this fosters an environment that instills confidence and also support public optimism. Additionally, it is also possible that government initiatives aim at economic recovery and growth, as also the prospect of technological advancement contribute to this positive outlook. The other factor coming from the cultural aspect. As a nation, we have a strong cultural history of resilience and high level of adaptability, which empower us to navigate changes and uncertainties with a positive outlook. So these cultural characters, combined with a strong sense of community, enable Malaysians to remain positive about the future.
Evelyn, however, said that more Malaysians are also bracing for increases in inflation and taxes.
It is essential for the government and the relevant stakeholders to take proactive measures to address this economic pressure effectively. I think the government can focus more on creating a favorable business environment that attract more investors be it local or foreign investor. By enhancing incentive and streamlining regulatory processes, Malaysia can become a very attractive hub for investment, leading to more job creation and economic growth.
She also underscored the importance of managing future health crises amid rising concerns among Malaysians of another global pandemic.
Close to 70% of Malaysians are worried about a new virus that might affect the countries, compared to just 47% of the global average. And the rate is also higher compared to Singapore and some of the neighborhood countries. So I think this also underscores the deeper concern about our public health and the capacity of our healthcare system to manage the future health crisis.
Ipsos' survey is based off 23,721 adults under the age of 75 across 33 countries. We'll go for a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Rambut gugur lagi? Macam mana Gunakan Pantene Baharu dengan provitamin mikro yang meresap dan menguatkan rambut dari dalam. Rambut 10 kali lebih kuat terhadap rambut gugur. Pantene Baharu. Menggaruk kulit kepala disebabkan kelomomor, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head & Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi kelomomor dan kegatalan. Bebas kelomomor sehingga 100%. Head & Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Welcome back. The first phase of the Gaza ceasefire agreement is proceeding as planned. Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesman Majid Al-Ansari says preparations are underway for the second phase of negotiations, set to begin on the 16th day after the first phase starts. Al-Ansari noted that while minor communication delays have occurred due to the complex situation in Gaza, no significant issues have disrupted the agreement's progress.
We know that till now the implementation has been going as planned, so we hope that that would continue regardless of any kind of political posturing on both sides.
The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs confirmed that the Israeli army has withdrawn from 2 main roads in Gaza within the Nazarem corridor. Following this, an estimated 376,000 Gazans have returned to their homes in northern Gaza. Meanwhile, Commissioner General of the Palestinian Relief Agency, UNRWA, says the ban on the agency, set to take effect on Thursday, will severely disrupt aid efforts in Gaza and the West Bank. He warns that it would heighten instability and undermine the Gaza ceasefire, as well as jeopardize recovery and political transition.
I'm seeking your decisive intervention in support of peace and stability in the occupied Palestinian territory and the broader region. First, push back against the implementation of the Knesset legislation. UNRWA's personnel and services are integral to the success of the ceasefire. Second, insist on a genuine political path forward that delineates UNRWA's role as a provider of education and healthcare. The agency is essential for ensuring a viable political transition. Finally, ensure that the financial crisis does not abruptly end UNRWA's life-saving work. The agency cannot continue to operate in the face of extraordinary challenges without adequate resources. The relentless assault on UNRWA is harming the lives and future of Palestinians across the occupied Palestinian territory. It is eroding the trust in the international community, jeopardizing prospects for peace and security.
In other news, investigations are ongoing to determine the cause of a fire which engulfed an Airbus plane belonging to South Korean carrier Air Busan, according to South Korean authorities. The plane caught fire on Tuesday at Gimhae International Airport while preparing for departure to Hong Kong. All 169 passengers and 7 crew members were evacuated, with 7 having minor injuries sent to the hospital and 1 remained there on Wednesday, fire authorities in Busan said. The fire service was alerted to the fire, which began inside the plane just before 10:30 p.m. local time. It is a month since South Korea's deadliest air disaster when a Jeju air flight from Bangkok crashed on one's airport's runway after it made an emergency belly landing, killing all but 2 of the 181 people on board. US President Donald Trump still plans to make good on his promise to issue tariffs on Canada and Mexico on Saturday. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt says that Trump is also still weighing fresh tariffs on China for Saturday.
The president has made it very clear, again, that he expects every nation around this world to cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens. And the president has also put out specific statements in terms of Canada and Mexico when it comes to what he expects in terms of border security. We have seen a historic level of cooperation from Mexico. But again, as far as I'm still tracking, and that was last night talking to the president directly, February 1st is still on the books.
Trump said last week he would announce 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada on February 1st unless the countries help tackle the twin issues of US fentanyl trafficking and immigration. Security stepped up crowd control operations at the Mahakumbh Mela, or Great Picture Festival in North India's Uttar Pradesh state on early Wednesday morning. This after more than a dozen deaths and many injured in a stampede at the Hindu festival. Authorities standing behind a boundary line tried to manage a large crowd squeezing shoulder to shoulder as they arrived at pre-dawn for the holy dip to mark the most auspicious day of the Mahakumbh Mela. Security personnel also formed a human line to let several ambulances drive past following the situation. Officials said an initial stampede was not serious, but its cause was unclear. However, witnesses said devotees trying to escape it were caught in another stampede at an exit. They then returned towards the pontoon bridges looking for another way out, only to find it had been closed by authorities. Authorities had expected a record 100 million people to throng the temporary township in Prayagraj on Wednesday for the holy dip, considered the most auspicious day due to a rare alignment of celestial bodies after 144 years. A study by scientists from the World Weather Attribution found that climate change increased the likelihood of the deadly fires in Los Angeles by 35%. The fires last month killed at least 28 people and destroyed or damaged nearly 16,000 structures. The scientists also said the low rainfall experienced by the Los Angeles area during October to December, which is traditionally the start of the rainy season in California, is now 2.4 times more likely. Combined with the annual dry, hot Santa Ana winds that blow from the desert through Southern California, it made for the perfect storm. This is according to John Abazaglu, a professor of climatology at the University of California, Merced.
These are very, very fast-moving fires. The wind speeds were incredibly strong, and we had an incredibly dry and contiguous fuel bed. So realistically, this was a perfect storm when it comes to conditions for fire disasters. The ingredients in terms of climate enabling and weather driving the fires, and the huge built environment sort of right downwind from where these ignitions occurred.
The scientists also found that drought conditions now last about 23 more days each year on average than in the pre-industrial climate. That wraps up AWANI tonight. Check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world, all in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I am Farhana Sheikh, wishing those celebrating a prosperous and happy Chinese New Year. Thanks for watching. I'm Farhana Sheikh. Good night.